once you're an iPhone user, can you ever really switch to Android? Well, let's find out. Hi, welcome back to the channel. This is where I talk about tech and hold the microphone for no reason because I don't know that the little mic inside of it is actually doing anything with the audio. Also, my lighting is horrible because I have one light that's like shining on me, but whatever, here we are. So my question was, can you, if you're a longtime iPhone user, can you switch to Android? Well, I have a reason why I'm asking that, because I have looked at the Galaxy Z Fold 7 for a little while since it came out like 2 months ago or a month and a half ago or something like that. And I really like the flip phone or the foldables. I had what was it, the Z4 as like a second camera or second phone for a little bit just to kind of try it out. Well, I decided that I was going to not necessarily jump ship, but I was actually going to give it a try. So I have the Galaxy Z Fold 7 here, the blue one. Look, that's Hank. The blue one, opens up to, it actually is kind of hard to open, but it opens up to a little mini tablet-y thing. And I have been using it for about 4 days, 5 days, something like that. So really it's not, I haven't been using it long enough to answer any definitive questions. And I'm not going to go through a whole like all the tech specs and like how it compares to the iPhone 16 Pro Max, which is the other phone that I have, which I'm keeping. I've always had two lines. So I just kind of switch between them, which is a nightmare. Don't do that. Because it took me 4 hours on the phone with AT&T to try to figure out how to switch the lines back. And yeah, it was just they were super nice and super helpful, but the closest store to drive to is an hour away, and I was not about that life. So I called them, and it was very time consuming. But anyway, alas, we have completed it. So now my main number is the Galaxy, and my secondary number is my iPhone. Now, right off the bat, as soon as you decide to get an Android or a Galaxy or whatever other phone that's not in the iPhone sphere or ecosystem, then you are dealing with the ecosystem, right? Because everything else I have is Apple. And it's actually kind of funny because I've been doing a lot of cleaning and like rearranging and reorganizing around the cottage, and I actually pulled a bunch of boxes, Apple boxes, out of the closet, and I made like a little little mirage. That's not right. Little art piece, maybe. I don't know. Is it art? Anyway, here it is. These are all the boxes that I had, and this is including stuff that I've gotten something new and sold the old thing, because I usually keep the boxes to be able to present to the person that I am selling it to. But anyway, so right off the bat, ecosystem is a thing, which, because I'm not giving up my Apple, and full disclaimer, on September 9th, which is the next Apple event, if they announce that they have a foldable, I will be so quick to go back, so quick. But I don't see that happening, maybe not until next year. And I'm just really, I appreciate what Apple does. I appreciate that they focus on, the software and making sure everything is seamless and works together. And that's great. And that's one of the things that makes Apple products so amazing. But it's boring. Like, it's just kind of boring, right? It's a slab phone. Like, it's a square. Like, it's gotten a little bit bigger. Maybe the bezels get a little changed. I think that they're coming out with a thinner one this year, and, I mean, and it's not, I'm not, there's a lot of stuff about Apple I do like. I love the Apple Vision Pro, and I love, all of the tablets and laptops and stuff like that. I don't think I'll ever switch from being a Mac user, but I'm just bored with the iPhone. Like I hate to say it, but I am. So anyway, I have started to dive into the Galaxy. So aside from the ecosystem, which is a huge thing that you have to get used to, there are other things that you could do to be better prepared that I didn't do because it's me. Number one is I relied on the Apple Password app, which I should have been putting everything in maybe Google, because it is a pain to go back and try to log into everything on a new phone that has no password saved on it. So there's that. That's been very time consuming. And then as far as setup goes, it's really kind of intuitive. I mean, it was easy to set up the phone itself. And I do like that you can, do a lot more customization, it seems, with it. It is a little bit clunky here and there. I can say this. I can say that already I can tell that the kind of the operating system between the difference between iOS and Android is it's Android's kind of clunky. Like, but I think that's because it is so varied, and so many different people can create things for it. And I think that makes it, really kind of cool. But I think it also, what is that, like a hair? Like, what's going on there? I got a big pimple right there too, because apparently I'm hitting puberty again. But anyway, so I mean, so many people can do stuff for it that it kind of, I guess, maybe it has less like tight control. Like Apple has tight control over all of the apps and everything, and so they just kind of work a little bit more seamlessly. But that's not to say Android. I mean, so far every app has worked that I've tried. All your major applications, like, your social media things, stuff like that, I don't really see a difference between the two. Like I said, mainly the biggest difference that I'm kind of working off of now is this is a change, right? So it's something new, and it's something that I can, like, play around with and become familiar with and kind of, use over the next couple of months to kind of, like, really, really see. Because for a long time, I was the kind of person that, don't come at me with no green bubble. I was not an Android fan. I made fun of Android, and but that's with really not exploring it. I mean, I went to iPhone, like probably not the initial one, but I think after the one after that, I think was I jumped on right after that. I remember, now I sound like an old man. I don't remember, but yeah. So anyway, for a long time, and here and there, like I think Samsung did. It's funny because every time I've ever kind of, like, did a little side something, it's been with Samsung. And because they had I cannot remember what the name of it was, but it was like a little phone. Anyway, it was waterproof, and I know back then it was like, oh my god. And I was going to like a pool weekend festival thing, and I thought, oh, that phone's gonna be amazing for it. So anyway, but yeah, there was that one, and then they had the Galaxy Mega, which was like this huge tank of a phone, and I loved that one. I got that as kind of like a side piece for a little while. And then the previous Fold, and now I'm trying this. So I've never really kind of given it, like a real try. I've never really explored it. I've just kind of gone off of what other people have said and kind of, like, it's not Apple, so I don't want it. Which, I mean, maybe at the end of all this, I'll just be like, even more grateful for my Apple products. But who knows? Anyway, this isn't about that though. It's about the Galaxy, and so. I can say the phone is like super light, like it's super not heavy, and like I said, initially it's a little hard to open up, but then once you get the hang of it, you can open it pretty well. The crease in the middle is like non-existent, so that doesn't even. Every once in a while, like if the light catches it a certain way, you'll kind of see it, but it's not really there. The screen looks really dynamic. It's very nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm like kind of, I'm happy with it. I'll tell you what I'm not happy with though. because I am a person that buys cases like crazy. The cases for it kind of suck, and let me tell you why. Because you have like maybe three primary choices. You have the case that is two separate pieces, where it's a back piece and then like a little front square thin thing that you usually have to use stickers to put on. And I'm not about that mess. So there's that. And then there are cases that are connected, like the one I have on it now, but it's kind of weird because, see, it doesn't have like a thing on the hinge side. So when you handle it, this moves, this little side thing, because it's just a piece of plastic right there. And I'm not a fan of that. I don't like that. The third case. This is one that really gets me, is which I actually did get one of them just because, but or actually two of them. This is where they call it a case, but really it's just the back and a screen protector. And I know that I went to Williston the other day to try to find a case for this phone, because I ordered one off Amazon and I didn't like it when it came in. It was too clunky. It was too big. MagSafe wouldn't work with it. So I decided, well, I'll just drive over there and see what Best Buy has. And Best Buy had one of just the back. It was a clear translucent one from Samsung that I got because it was like not expensive. But then I went to AT&T and they had two different kinds, and one of them was like a complete, like, it was a connected case. And that one, I'll tell you about that in a minute. The second one was a carbon fiber back. And I remember the guy, I was like, oh, okay, so how much is that one? And he's like, oh, that one's $100. And I'm like, it's just the back of it though, right? It's just, well, but it's carbon fiber. And I'm like, is carbon fiber like super expensive or something? Is that like gold? I mean, is that like some kind of like magical material that I didn't know about? Like, I mean, yeah, I know it's good. It's like, tough, but I mean, we're talking about like a little square of it going across the back of the phone. $100? Really? Oh, but it's got a screen protector. Oh, okay. Well, this must be one amazing screen protector. I was like, no, thank you. So I got the other one, which was cheaper, but still not super cheap. Anyway, I'm just like being catty about money, but anyway, it's just one of those things where it's like, and I mean, of course, Apple does it all the time. Like, oh, would you like this strap for this? For the Vision Pro? Would you like the little battery strap that you can hang? Okay, that's gonna be $50. I mean, things are worth what you'll pay for them. So don't get me wrong, but yeah, I mean, it's a kind of like a little bit like, huh? Anywho, but yeah, so that's my ranting about the case thing. But so far, like I said, I'm still playing around with it, still enjoying it. So I will be making some videos on it as I use it, with different things. Oh, there is something else though that actually just occurred tonight that I thought was pretty cool. So I wear the Meta glasses a lot, right? I actually have my prescription in both sets of them that I have. And I've got one set that's now tied to the Samsung and one set that's tied to the iPhone. And anyway, so I was wearing them tonight and I was like doing some cleaning in the, like pulling the stuff out of the closet and stuff like that. And I got a text message from next door from Danny and telling me something, and I wanted to respond, but my phone was in the living room, which I live in a small cottage, so it's not like it's a big walk, but I was doing something, and so I was like, oh, let me try this. So I said, Meta, respond to Danny's text saying yada yada yada, and it did. And I thought, wow, that's cool, because iPhone won't do that. It can read your text. It will read a text out if you get it, but it'll tell you that it can't do, the I guess the interface between, Meta and iOS or whatever won't let you send text. So then I tried that. I tried to send a text. So I said, hey, Meta, send a text to yada yada, and it did, no problem. So I thought that was pretty cool. I think that there's definitely going to be pros and cons, absolutely. And like I said, I have no intention of getting rid of, my Apple stuff. I'm still a fan of technology in general, and, I'm a fan of Apple. But like I said, when it comes to the phone, I wanted something different. I wanted to try something else. So anyway, I would love to hear thoughts on that. I don't want anybody to come at me about, like being a deserter or whatever, but I'm interested if anybody's actually tried. I looked it up and there's some videos about like switching from Apple to Android takes 3 years and all this kind of stuff, which I'm like, I do not have the patience for all that. And like I said, Apple probably will come out with a foldable at some point, and at that point, that's something new. I'm right back with you. But like I said, everything that I've seen about what's coming up has just been. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some stuff in there that's changed, but it's still the same form factor for like a little bit thinner, whatever. So yeah. So anyway, comments. Yeah. So I'd love to hear in the comments like what you guys think about the difference between the two, and if you're gonna watch the event next Tuesday. Anyway, tomorrow is Labor Day. It's Labor Day. So have a safe, fun, happy Labor Day, and I will see you next week. Thanks. Bye.